On to Game 3, Vici picking up a very unexpected win, but a win no less. And a one step closer to getting their first win in the LPL Spring Split.
And what an amazing win that was. I mean, it was RNG led all the way until the very last second, then Martin with the expert sidestep brings the game back towards them. But yet again, this still does not address the issue that I have with Vici Game. And that is, are you guys playing to win, or are you guys playing not to lose? Because they definitely did not lose that last game. But by no means did they win, especially in the first 30 minutes.
I was going to say, I mean, we asked that question of RNG as well, so it's an ipso factor that keeps getting turned on its side. Caitlyn, Talia, again, Skarner, and repetitious bans coming through. As the Camille actually taken off the ball this time, the Shen as well away from Caveman, and the Azir will never go to Easy Hoon. First pick is the Gangplank.
Although there is still a Rise that is widely available now, finally not banned away by RNG. They feel very comfortable with themselves up in the top lane, and they actually bring in Kasa for game number 3.
Bringing in Zatai as well, so Let Me and MLXG will be on the bench for this third game, and it looks like the swap and the rotational change for RNG is definitely what they want to go with, and Ming is not going to play amiss of that champion. 3 games in a row of Tom Kench.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he didn't play the last game, he played the alley, but Tom Kench was banned away from him, showing a lot of respect from VG Gaming. The second that it is available, they immediately nab it up for themselves. Now it's up to Vici. Do they want to put that Gangplank up in the top lane, as it's so well known, and pick themselves up a Rise? Because if they do, along with the Jarvan that they're hovering right now, they could just get the 3 strongest picks for the top side of the map that they can, but instead, they go for the Galio.
Other S tiers as well. I mean, we've been looking at Camille as a bigger priority in China, but this time, going with other regions, the Jarvan finally gets picked up in the first rotation. And Kasa matching it with the Sejuani, and back in the LMS days, I mean, Kasa was well known as a very versatile jungler, mainly on the Lee Sin, but could definitely come in as situational tank or a bruiser, but Sejuani, I mean, that's not very hard to play. And Xiaohu will supplement, and this time pick up the Vladimir.
The playmaker himself, although Xiaohu now, he's on a champion that doesn't really facilitate these plays for himself so much as facilitate these plays for the rest of his team with his ultimate going into these team fights, which is quite odd, because usually you think about Xiaohu as this person who likes to put RNG on his back. You remember back to the Worlds days in which he said, "Don't worry, Uzi, I will carry you all the way to the finals."
Well, he's got to do plenty of that, but I think Uzi is carrying himself in this series, and definitely is one of the stronger members of RNG, especially in the game too.
I mean, when can you not say that about Uzi in any team that he's on? He's always a standout player, and this series is no exception for him, even though he didn't win last game.
Well, that's right, and I expect him to pick up the Virus again, because that's what he's done the past 2 games, and RNG fitting into their comfort nicely. This time taking away the Taric from Caveman, and I guess leaving a pick open, RNG might just go ahead and take the Virus for a 3rd time in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it is the strongest ADC for him. He hasn't performed badly on it. Why not? It's available. Very strange that they go for the Corki ban. I'm going to make an assumption and say that Xiaohu will maybe play this Vladimir, although of course you can move him up into the top lane. Scales very well against a Gangplank in his own right, but doesn't bully out in the early game.
Right, this time it's going to be the Cogmore, and RNG changing things up just that little bit in the bottom lane. And with the Tom Kench as well, gives it a bit of safety, a bit of comfort. And RNG able to finish this one off with, I guess, with a strong tank in the top lane if they go.
Most certainly. I mean, they're changing up the ADC in the Cogmore. Still does more damage than the Varus, although you don't have the ultimate. Now over on the other side, Ezreal banned both of the first 2 games. Klepto finally able to be picked up in the 3rd one.
But double Klepto on the side of Vici Gaming with the Gangplank. And the Bard actually finished off. So, Caveman, he was running out of supports, but you have to look at RNG Ming and say, what has he... Well, he's already got the Tom Kench. But what I should say is, what is he going to do in the laning phase when you look at Bard and Ezreal being such a strong poke lane?
This is very tough for RNG, because Bard naturally counters Tom Kench in the sense that if you want to throw out your Q, Tom Kench always stands behind his ADC ready to eat him up. So you're just giving him a free shot right through both of you, stunning up both of you, and slapping you with his meat. But other than that, I really do fear for Vici's team composition. They haven't got a very coherent front line. Jarvan, of course, he does get tanky the later the game goes, but early and even mid-game, he struggles a lot in the tank department. And we already know that Galio is going to go AP, or at least partial AP. So it's going to be really tricky for Vici Gaming to win these long, extended team fights.
And with RNG picking up the Nah, I 100% agree with that. These elongated fights, RNG able to sustain, and Zatai coming in for game 3, getting that counter pick in the Nah, and we always see this going against the Gangplank. If you are going to pick that up first rotation, maybe it's worth banning away the Nah, putting that top lane in a position of less comfort, but Zatai, we've seen him on the Nah many times before, and it should be pretty clinical if the top lane gets steamrolling ahead. Gangplank not having much effect, able to keep up in gold, yes, CS, no, but team fight presence, is the Cannon Barrage going to be enough?
That's what we have to take a look at, especially as soon as the top lane has hit the level 6 mark Asterix. Obviously it means that the Gangplank can have a much bigger impact on the map without even burning his teleport. But whenever we talk about a Gangplank, it is always a scaling back to the 3-item power spike that we want to see him try and get towards, and just survive until then.
Many other scaling facts in RNG as well. And game 3, RNG losing out to Vici would be a major upset. But Vici Gaming, I mean, they've got to do something with this team composition right and early. Get themselves into a snowball effect and really push themselves ahead. I mean, scaling-wise, you have cases for both teams, but heading into game 3 now, let's see if Vici Gaming put the nail in the coffin and take an upset in that series win, and their first win, the LPL Spring Split.
This is the crowd. They're coming out for their respective teams right here.
You can hear RNG. Like, that's what you hear there, preachers. You know, you heard Vici at the start, and then you heard RNG, and it's quite...
It's their respective crowds. Did you know that in the actual stadium, I don't think Martin's going to get caught out, in the actual stadiums, they physically segregate themselves onto 2 different parts of the arena, and one side starts chanting for assumably the team on blue side, and then the other team starts chanting for whoever's on the red side. So, you know, it's always a battle of attrition. I'd say that actually was quite even. It sounded about the same for both of those 2 teams.
I'd still say that, I mean, it's a better system, right? Because in EULCS, NALCS, everyone just sits wherever, right? It's about getting a seat.
And then people just chant TSM.
And then, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's Cloud9 versus CLG and everyone's shouting TSM. And you're like, well, they're not doing too well at the moment, so a little bit questionable. And, yeah, no, that's just some of my pet peeves. Caveman, this is a nuisance. This is a nuisance of a person who's trying to take this one away, but RNG's jungler, Casa, will actually pick it up. So nothing to be said or done.
Now let's just have a quick chat about Casa, right? Because Casa, coming in from the LMS, we all had really big questions about him potentially moving onto this side, but of course, communication isn't a really big problem. Playmaking is really his strong suit. He's been known, like you mentioned in Champ Select, to play those champions like, for instance, Elise in the Elise, the very hyper-aggressive, potentially hyper-scaling into an assassin-esque type of play. But this game, RNG has relegated him down onto tank duties on the Sejuani. Let's see if he can make an impact early on, because there's no functional difference between Sejuani and pretty much anybody else. In the early game, you go into people, you knock him up, he's got Aftershock, he can still make really big plays.
Yeah, making the new edition of RNG this year. Casa, definitely someone who we need to see work for this team, and 4-4, I mean, it hasn't been the most successful start or most convincing, but had some pretty hard matchups so far. A lot of damage on the side of RNG this time, and whereas you saw game 1, Vici just stacked tanks, game 2, RNG the same. This time both teams feel like they've found a comfortable middle ground. It is still that worrying factor of Vici Gaming maybe just not having a compiled composition with different elements kind of spanning out.
And check out these stats on your screen right now. Casa's first 4 games, a bit lackluster, but right now, takes away the red for himself, and that is really testament to how he's currently going. Caveman, though, wants to find something.
Does nothing. Casa picks up the steal.
And once again, we just have to say, first 4 games, he didn't do too well for himself. But the last 4 games, baby, he only dropped 1 kill, 1 death, I should say, in all of them. And he is really starting to play much better with this unit. I mean, I think it's just a matter of growing pains, how you first start joining a team and people don't really know how to interact with you, and you don't know how to interact with the team. But he has most certainly picked it up for himself. That was solo, but even then, he just styled on Swift.
Well, it's that adaptation, right? Coming from such a powerful team as the Flash Wolves, who have really receded over the past, I guess, year or so, and playing with players like Maple, who loves picking up something like a LeBlanc, and then Sword Art, who again will pick up the Tom Kench more often than not. You have different play styles on the side of RNG. And for Casa, that adaptation has been a little bit rough, as Swift,
Oh no.
I think, will just manage to survive that one out, but if he gets spotted, he is dead. Luckily, he does not, and still, gold neck and neck. No really broken play to enter the game.
Well, yeah, I mean, you say that, but the red was stolen away, so effectively Swift did get 3 buffed, and you got to give huge praise over to Casa for doing so.
Yeah, apart from that, yeah, of course.
He did a lot of good work for himself, and we just have to see what Casa does after this, because first of all, he denied away a lot of resources from Swift. Now, let's see if he can start prepping his team up for a lot of success. There's virtually nothing in the jungle at the current moment for either of these 2 junglers, so it actually gives a lot of impetus for Casa to start going into these lanes. But given the fact that things are so quiet, and he's already level 4, you could just wait until level 6 to make an impact.
I mean, that kind of felt like the moment as Easy Hoon tries to commit forward onto Xiaohu. Teleport actually going to be used here, spotted out by Meow. Think forward. That ward just expired at the end of the day, and he'll be able to pick it up as well. Zatai not zoning him out too much, and the fact that Meow's been able to keep up for CS at 5 minutes in the game is a good testament. See if he can continue it up for at least another 5 minutes.
Yeah, it also means that Zatai could potentially be the target of a gank that's coming out from Swift, because previously we didn't talk about the stats that came onto the screen after we saw Casa's. Zatai is actually lacking in a whole lot of these stats. Damage per minute, kill participation, damage participation. Casa, hey, what are you doing?
He's just having a walk through mid lane, Preacher.
He's having a stroll, admiring the scenery of Summoner's Rift. He actually goes for a very deep ward. I mean, this is very intelligent coming out, because while it's been very low impact of Casa in terms of going to the lanes, he has had a huge impact on the map in terms of denying Swift from going to any of these lanes. And if you want to talk about late game scaling with the Vladimir and also a Cogmore, a reverse situation of the last game, then the best thing that you could possibly guarantee for your team isn't you getting them ahead, but making sure that the enemy jungler doesn't get them behind.
Casa impeaching in on this jungle. Has to be very careful. Caveman's still trying to rotate up. Ming has found him. Will not take the magical journey. And Casa just trying to take away creeps. I mean, the invade does not stop. Casa still sitting up. RNG Gaming, they're trying to rotate around, but it looks like RNG are expecting that, and Uzi just gets himself some free solo time in the lane.
And naively, you can say, okay, this is just Casa being Casa, playing very aggressively, going into the face of Swift and challenging him on virtually every camp that he does. But the wider picture, a wider implication of what just happened for him is, oh wow, Xiaohu taken really low. The wider implication, no, here's the ultimate.
And can't get out. Xiaohu is not going to take any more turret aggro. Casa using the ultimate for not much return.
Yes, he just had to burn the Galio getting out of that situation. But let's go back to that point. The fact that he made such a hot pressure point along the Raptor camp for RNG Gaming meant that the hot point was not actually in bottom lane. The hot point was not actually in mid lane. And because of that, it guaranteed so much escape for both Uzi and Xiaohu to just farm away.
Casa almost stealing another buff away. And almost loses his life with it as well. You see the True Shot Barrage went topside. And not able to make an impact. Feels like I'm repeating myself there. RNG Gaming, the top lane finally. Meow is falling behind as expected. Only 16 CS. And really the gold should equalize. Martin in a bit of a tricky position here. Has to Arcane shift away. Ming will let him go.
It's just the classic bait and switch. Let's see if Casa keeps this up, because I'm actually really happy with his playstyle. right now. If he can go into the enemy jungle, he doesn't necessarily even need to steal any camps away. He doesn't even need to necessarily kill Swift in his own camps. His only impetus is taking Swift's attention away from both Uzi and Xiaohu. And if he manages to do that, if he manages to make other places on the map so favorable to go to that they don't go to the solo lanes, then eventually they're going to win through scaling. And this is one of the smarter plays that he's doing.
So really, I mean, scaling, you know, is been such a big thing for RNG. And for Xiaohu, you look and he's gone, oh no, he's gone Spooky Shadows, I see. So we're still in 8.2. I just keep forgetting, Preacher, that we've taken that out of the game. Well, we've taken it out as a viable option for Xiaohu, but not in 8.2.
Nope. He still goes for it. Will give himself a lot of gold. Here's another fight.
Lockdown actually on Swift. The heroic entrance there as well. EasyHoon gets a knock up and Trishop Barrage almost steals away the blue buff. Swift has to use the stopwatch, but Xiaohu picks up first blood. And Flash comes out. That wasn't from Caveman, that was from EasyHoon, and it'll just be the first blood going to RNG.
Oh boy, Swift, what exactly were you doing? The whole point of Casa going into your jungle is to stop you from ganking, but then you try to get some revenge onto him. That does not work towards your favor, even if it succeeded. And boy, oh boy, he gives up his life in an attempt to get some revenge.
And as we've seen with the previous games, the first blood has really indicated who takes it out, and it's a very basic thing to say, but when you look at perspective, it has set the tempo of the game. For RNG now, almost 2k gold up. You can see why. It is that bottom lane. Martin has not fallen this far behind in lane. 30 CS down. And if Uzi gets this Ginsu's in the next back,
it looks almost guaranteed.
It looks difficult for Martin as well.
Most certainly, yeah. This Ezreal can't necessarily trade, and you're looking at the sort of playmaking that can happen along the bottom side. It's very easy for Bard to bully him around. Xiaohu, though, taking a lot of damage. Anyway, back in the bottom lane, it's really easy for Caveman to bully Uzi around by using his ultimate, by throwing away his Qs and just saying, dance with me, dance. But if everybody starts collapsing on the side of RNG, this is tougher than it actually seems.
Teleport was actually just used there as well as the True Shot Barrage. And I'm not sure how worth that is for Caveman, apart from having something like the Exhaust. Especially when you're going against a Cogmore who is so far ahead. We'll find out. I mean, it might not have an impact whatsoever. And for VG Gaming, things are not looking too up. RNG still controlling, and EasyHoon has to back off now as well. We'll also have to use the teleport. Casa counter jungling. Martin has no mana.
And once again, all he's doing is forcing people off of Uzi. You can say, oh, great, this invade succeeded. No, that one didn't quite. But at the end of the day, every single invade takes pressure off of Uzi. And once again, his money is slowly accruing. I don't even think he's in any danger right now. I don't even think that Swift can do anything. He's just standing.
Normally with the 3v2 you'd say, like, this is not good. Actually, the engage turns into EasyHoon, and VG Gaming's mid lane are now trying to turn it onto Xiaohu, but he has so much healing, he's gonna die here. Casa picks up his first, and RNG continue to steamroll.
Oh boy, turning on the fire hysterics. Casa moves Swift down into the bottom side, almost as if by force, because Uzi pushed in the wave so heavily, and he ganks mid lane. Swift, I don't think you want to take this one.
They really don't. They can't 3v2 this bottom lane. Mid lane is walking over. The top lane is a general counter pick. 30 CS top, 30 CS mid, 30 CS, and continuing to grow bottom lane. RNG, they find their first turret blood, and they are 4,000 gold ahead at 12 minutes into this game 3.
And you gotta give just so much props. I mean, we sound like this is pretty much the Kaza show where we say we love this guy, we love what he's doing, but he is honestly the biggest impact of this lane, of this entire game, because you gotta take a look at all the individual lanes coming out for RNG, and you gotta ask, what exactly happened with them? Well, the answer is nothing. Nothing happened with these individual lanes, especially from Swift, because all they had to do was simply farm up. That's their objective. They want to make sure that they can get as many items as they possibly can, because they outscale in every single front, with the exception of maybe Gangplank. But besides that, it's just been done so well.
I mean, Swift one step behind this game, like you said, and Casa, he gets the Sejuani, he gets Swift's triumphant pick of game 2. Camille, flop in game 1. Number 3, you have Jarvan, which is another S-tier pick in 8.2 Preacher.
I would argue that Jarvan is the best jungler in 8.2, but...
Apparently not.
Yeah, I mean, Swift just hasn't been able to make it happen. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen, but you can't because the kitchen is your jungle.
And it's so damn hot in there, I tell you what, someone's left the burner on. RNG are like, whatever, we've got like an exhaust fan, it works fine. You know, we'll open a couple of windows and breeze feels good.
Yeah, it does. It's a cool breeze on a hot day, and Uzi, take a look at his build path. He's already got his Ginzu's
We're not continuing on. We're not continuing on with the kitchen.
I mean,
we're done.
That's what I was gonna say. That's his fan. That's his fan. Blowing a very good breeze. The Ginzu's Rage Blade.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be the one to take it to the next level, Preacher.
Here we
It's
go.
like, you know, it's like walking onto the fry pan and realize that the burner's hotter than a burner could go, right? So you know how you have high,
Yes.
and then secretly there's a setting like very high.
Yes.
The pan's burning. It's now got a stain on it that's just full of black ash, and you're like, I didn't even know this was possible.
And that is pretty much the state of the jungle for Swift right now. I mean, he pretty much can't go anywhere. He's fearing for his life. He has to ward out his own jungle just to make sure that Kaz is not there. Because if Kaz is there, you can sort of assume that Ming can collapse at any point, and you can sort of assume that Xiaohu can follow at an instant faster than Easy can. And it's so rough for him.
Well, Iceborne Gauntlet picked up by Martin, which will alleviate some of the damage being put out by Uzi. Of course, not all of it. RNG's bottom lane looking to rotate as well, and 4k gold lead with a Cloud Dragon now in the mix. Not a big issue if this one gets stolen away, but RNG do want to get everything. They do have the Rift Herald. They do have control on this map. And VG Gaming may be looking to fight, but they're not going to test it just now.
No. I mean, here it is. Okay, Uzi dodges.
Flash out of the way. Now this engage doesn't look good. Gangplank ult there as well. Heroic entrance from EasyHoon. Teleport and RNG. They're not committing anything towards this. Zatai has used teleport as well. Where is he? He's on the backside.
Oh, no.
Xiaohu looking to clean up. It's a 1-for-1 trade. And VG Gaming, this looks so damn good. But Zatai and Xiaohu coming in. They've turned the tides of the battle. They've lost an 80 carry on the side of RNG. But look at this. Ming is in front of the fight. Swift is here as well. Caveman, now you have to get out. Do not help Swift. He is dead in this world. A flash forward caster picks him up finally. They stay too long. And what did I say, Caveman? A 4-for-1 RNG showing prowess.
That actually looks so good for Vici at the start, but they overstayed their welcome. Shelly gets summoned. I don't even think they're going to stop here. They could potentially go for an inhib turret.
I mean, they don't have the 80 carry. That's the one great thing for VG
course.
Gaming, is that they don't have someone to push down for this inhibitor turret. It is only one, and like you said, Shelly should find another one here. In she goes, bit of damage, and VG Gaming lose more. 6k gold lead, RNG 16 minutes into the game. Want to put a stamp on this series.
That feels very difficult for themselves. Let's watch this one over again. So Uzi is really the person you need to keep your minds on. Excellent flash, but now that they know for certain that the flash is down from Uzi, he's stuck inside this cataclysm. Nice eat from Ming, but now nobody is body blocking for him. So the skill shots come out, the skill shots hit him right between the goalposts, and with no ADC, Vici feel empowered, but Xiaohu starts going in, and Xiaohu starts going crazy. He is on full HP, Zatai is on full HP as well. With the Abyssal Voyage, there's always Swift around.
I mean, Caveman coming in here as well. I did say it. Stays around. A little bit too long. He meets the end as well. And Vici now, their last resort, or at least one of them, trying to set up a play in the top lane. Zatai doesn't know Swift is here. And the rest of RNG, they're actually bot side.
Yep, but he does have a flash, he does have hop. So I don't think this is as dangerous as you would imagine.
But he doesn't have Mega Gnar. It's going to take some time to build up. Now gets the hop. Mega Gnar coming shortly
Nice
as well. Zatai meets with 3 people, knocks back 2. The third is here. EasyHoon. Mega Gnar not going to matter. VG do pick up 1 kill. But what's happening on the other side of the map?
Well, they get a kill, they're pushing for the turret, they should be able to get it. Let's see where RNG can take this one, because there's no defense available for VG Gaming on the bottom side of the map.
So Demolish not even going to matter here. This turret should go down, and Flicky Tongue does find one. Third turret for RNG. 6k gold lead. It will be responded though, so for VG Gaming this was definitely worth for now.
Yeah, however, RNG go for the second one, and They actually died.
Oh, they're turning up the heat once again. You didn't think it was possible, but Uzi will pick up this kill and is now on his first, but is slowly and slowly getting more resources. The next time should find its makeup.
See, look, this is what I actually dislike about what Ming just did. He used his Demolish on the very first turret when it was one hit away anyway. Normally in that situation, you actually want to hold on to your Demolish so that you could use it on the second turret. Imagine if you used it on the second one. It would be on about a 5th HP. Ripe for the taking, but you know, these are all pedantic things from me.
So really, no, it's still good to nitpick on RNG Preacher because this is how they perfect their game and bringing Casa and Zatai into the mix. Maybe this is the roster swap for Game 3 that they needed because, you know, great Game 1, but Game 2, maybe they roster swapped him because he picked the Malphite. I want to be honest here, maybe it was. If someone picked a Malphite in my game, I might roster swap them in Game 3.
Well, it depends. Does he land his ultimates? If yes, keep him on. If he doesn't...
He did it.
Oh, maybe Zatai should have his time in the sun. But yeah, I mean, that was just one ultimate that was whiffed from him. And eventually Zatai comes out. Proves why he's here. He's a very solid rock in the top lane. He fell because of a 3-man collapse onto him. But it wasn't the worst case scenario because it was just a turret trade for a turret trade. Only the kill difference went over to Vici.
Baron coming up in now. As 20 seconds hits on the Rift. Minute 30 remaining until we set the next dragon as well. So they'll just secure Scuttle Crab on the side of RNG Gaming. And Uzi absorbing more and more resources. Currently 1,000 gold up. And the biggest one that you have to look at right now is that, yes, Gangplank's even. That's great, ladies and gentlemen. You know, like 40 CS down. Gangplank always even. But the big one here is Xiaohu is almost 3,000 gold up on Easy Hoon. And only 20 CS up.
And he's also got a Rabadon's death cap. I mean, how often do you see that item being built second or third, I should technically say. It's an extremely strong power spike for Xiaohu at the moment, and it's only 20 minutes in the game that he gets his Rabadon's death cap. So the next team fight, watch out for his big damage numbers. Usually you think about Vladimir as using his ultimate to empower the other members on his team, especially with Uzi on the Cogmore, but he can output damage by himself, and that's another threat that you can't necessarily account for.
RNG trying to converge mid. And that Baron is up, so the next team fight is going to mean big things, and you got to say if RNG take more than 3, they should be able to crack mid, they should be able to crack top. And in that side lane, Zatai now has teleport, is a level up, and he's actually going for full split pushes, so this is not something we normally see, with Blade of the Ruin King almost complete for the Gnar.
Yeah, that is disgusting. He just wants to take it straight to Meow. Of course, it's going to be a mini Gnar build. Doesn't do too much in Mega, but still, he wants the opportunity to fight this gameplay. And it's a really obnoxious build, because you just wait until Gangplank uses oranges, and then you immediately use your Blade of the Ruin King. It gets slowed. He can't get out of that slow. And he just gets punished for whatever mistake that he decides to make. But as soon as he gets into Mega, that's when things really go south for Zatai. Because he's not tanky, he can't do damage in the middle of a team. So, realistically, RNG, the longer they stall this out, and the longer they don't make a Baron call, the better it is for the composition.
22 minutes in still. Question marks going as to the next play from RNG. Still that Baron waits up, and Zatai looks like he should be able to solo this Drake. I mean, that's the benefit of 2 items that are...
Play the Ruin King?
Yeah, pretty much damage, so...
Yep, percentage damage on a multi-thousand health.
That's right, multi-$1,000 objective.
Yes.
I mean, it's probably worth that much.
It's an Infernal. It's worth a lot of money, Hysterics.
Will be followed by another one as well.
Oh
so,
boy.
2 Drakes on the side of RNG. And now hovering around this Baron. And the second Infernal, I'm not even sure we'll get to it at this stage, but RNG Gaming playing very safe, so looking to continue their scaling. And now especially with Meow, who has actually picked up the Yomu's Ghostblade. Was it the right call instead of going for Sterix? I don't know, going against this RNG team comp.
He knows that it's a very squishy build coming out from RNG, especially from Zatai. He knows that he can do a whole lot of damage, but I think that EasyHoon does not want this fight because everybody's collapsing.
There's a great ultimate from Casa, locks him down, a flash is needed, and Tempered Fate hits no one, but it's enough to discern RNG from pushing. Baron's still up and available. Make sure you keep your eyes on where RNG move.
And let's just have a quick chat about the build spikes that are currently available for RNG as they start to get a lot of control over this Baron pit. You've got Uzi, who is actually building towards his third item, Brunette, as opposed to Blade of the King 1v1.
Okay, so this is what he built for, and it does not work. I guess the Youmu's was a better build for Meow.
Oh man, I'm not too certain why Zatai wanted to take that trade in the first place, but now this gives so much pressure.
And the teleport coming in from Meow. Remember, he is low though. No, sorry, that is easy here. Meow did not use it. RNG 4 versus 5. They won't take it.
And if RNG Gaming don't do anything, and they just allow Meow to keep on pushing, he could have potentially taken that turret. Opts to back out of the situation. Doesn't even want to force Zatai to use his teleport. But man, what a 1v1 play down onto the bottom side. Let's watch it again. Zatai is actually the person who instigates it because he walks into this rush with immediate ultimate, and Zatai knows that he's just done so.
I mean, that was a flash from Meow, right? Like, he tried to dodge the boomerang blade and he didn't. But still, the burst damage that came through means that 1v1 play, I mean, it slows it down, and there's good and bad arguments for slowing the game down for RNG Gaming. You have a Gangplank, which is like, hey, surprise, it's a 6-item Gangplank, and one of the best scaling hyper carries in the game, in Ezreal. But then you say...
Whoa, did you just say that Ezreal's a hyper carry?
Look, there's an argument out there, right, and stay with me, I'm not always a monkey. Stolen again, by the way, by Cast, the second time.
Casually.
That Ezreal is always going to be the best scaling, at least 80 carry, because he's so versatile. But that's a different discussion. RNG have actually started the Baron here.
Yep, this is a very bold call. Swift is here though, so he can potentially steal it.
Now, where's the best scaling hyper carry? Well, he's somewhere else away. Sorry about that, Preacher. The ultimate comes through, does miss onto Swift, and RNG haven't really executed this one well, so they might just go back to the Baron or back off. He's even taking 0 damage whatsoever. And Swift in a bit of a difficult position, has to Dragon Flag away. RNG turn their attention mid.
Alright, so here's my argument. The best scaling hyper carry in the game is actually in this game right now, but it's actually the Kog'Maw. Uzi, getting the 6 items, he's going to do so much damage, and especially against Martin. Sure, Martin has the safety of standing back, of getting a whole lot of protection, not from his team, but just from himself, but the damage output is going to be lacking in that condition, and if Uzi manages to walk forward and get a whole lot of damage down, well then it could just be lights out, good night for the side of RNG Game. I mean, nobody can really deal with him. The person who can really kill this Kog'Maw, if there is one on the side of RNG, is Meow. But he needs to scale, and he needs to scale fast, and he needs to scale now. He's going towards his Starix gauge, but it's actually quite slow given the time period.
Really is. Third item's Charm. RNG once again go towards this Baron. I was going to point out Martin's build, but maybe another day. Uzi has to be a little bit careful. They're posing around this Baron, and Xiaohu has actually engaged onto Swift, flashes over the wall.
Man.
The 1v1 Swift is dead here, Preacher. And RNG, their mid laner, is making things happen. Now being engaged on by 2 members, exhausted down, but heals all the way back up. You cannot kill Xiaohu. That is the Baron buff secured.
What was that? Xiaohu goes over the wall, pretty much 1v3s, kills Swift, drags everybody else along, and now they're not done. Ming.
They go straight mid. I mean, with Uzi, you can definitely push this one down. Yell there to try and clear the wave, but will not do so. Zatai as backup, Martin on the side. It's a 3 versus 2, now 3. And RNG, I'm not sure whether they're going to be able to get this turret.
Well, they do have Baron buff, so while they didn't necessarily get the turret, they can push for another wave. They don't go too greedy, which is very smart of them, but as soon as they go back, spend their gold, and then come back once more, there's really nothing available. And fun fact about Uzi, he took commencing stopwatch. He hasn't used it yet, so he can just sit on that in his inventory all the way until he uses it and sells it. The fact that you could go 28 minutes into the game without using your stopwatch really speaks wonders about his positioning.
Speaks confidence, actually. Not having to use your stopwatch with a Galio, with a Gangplank, a Jarvan, even like an Ezreal, like everyone. I could name everyone on the team that could pretty much proc Kog'Maw to be in an uncomfortable position. He's not. Uzi has just played the position game. He's died once. Then you can argue a little bit. Xiaohu, I'm not sure if RNG Game, no, they need 4 members. And actually the ultimate's cancelled. Xiaohu survives.
Oh,
He's doing
God.
half health. Kasa kills the Galio. Easy here, but he takes one down with him. Xiaohu is a monster who has done enough. Uzi now 1v1ing Meow. Finally, the stopwatch comes out. Caveman and Swift, they both take the magical journey. The ultimate from Uzi, looking to spew out some hate onto Swift, and will not do so. RNG, again, finding more objectives, more kills, and more reasons to kill VG Game.
And in a 4v5 situation, Xiaohu, 1v3s, takes down a member with his own life. Look at this Baron buff hysterics. They're not done. They want everything on this map.
Well, 2 members are dead. They will not be able to find the win, but they should be able to find at least the inhibitor. No. VG Gaming still hold on, but another inhibitor turret. Sorry, I thought the middle one died for some reason.
Oh.
First inhibitor turret will find its end. 13,000 gold up at 29 minutes, and RNG have an Infernal to look forward to.
Well, let's actually take a look at the Baron timer. It's 1 minute to go, and RNG have to decide, do they want to try and get an inhibitor off of this, or do they want to get a Drake off of this? What Xiaohu outplay this situation again? Swift and Caveman think that they can do this one, but Swift's already half HP before anything happens. The Galio ultimate doesn't even come through because he's standing in the middle of everyone. And although Xiaohu dies,
Martin just got popped.
Martin follows him.
That is the problem with Vladimir. He's got 4 items. He's onto his last. And as soon as he gets rid of his boots, I'm just going to be scared. I already am. And now 1v2. Zatai actually going to go into Mega Gnar here. The ultimate comes through. And look at this. The rotations from RNG are just so much better. There is nothing VG Gaming can do. And Casa looks to cut off, but doesn't need to. Swift finding the end. We're now on to another siege from RNG.
Yep. And although they won't have a Baron for this siege, they're still going forward. And Uzi dodge!
Missing the ult. RNG are just cleaning house, and especially Uzi here. Easy Hoon, sorry. Uzi just got popped. This is one of the benefits of Ezreal.
Well, he does actually die in that situation, but he dodged out the ulti from K-Man, which was awesome.
Here comes Xiaohu again. Meow has nowhere to go. Dies instantly. Xiaohu chasing down Easy Hoon, and Galio normally doesn't take magic damage, but with a big Vladimir like this, yes he is. Martin again regrets every decision. Xiaohu himself has pretty much put the nail in the coffin with only Swift left alive.
Oh my word. Xiaohu going in and pretty much soloing the entire team of Vici Gaming. Now, even without a Baron buff, they don't need one, hysterics. They're looking down the fountain.
It's only Caveman and Swift for another 20 seconds. Xiaohu is pacing forward with the rest of RNG. Casa doesn't have the ultimate, but they find Caveman. He flashes away, trying to waste time, but maybe it won't be the end of the game. Might just be the inhibitors for now, but you have to say that RNG, with 3 inhibitors down and a 16k gold lead, should be able to take this next Infernal and this next Baron and close it out.
2 Infernals, sorry, with 3 inhibitors down on the map. Vici Gaming, it's just dotting the I's and crossing the T's now. Because this is the team fight that really started it all. Casa with an excellent picker. Uzi actually gets taken down, combined between the Ezreal poke and also the Gangplank poke. But that's not what we wanted to look at. Why didn't we get to see the slaughter from Xiaohu? That was the biggest part.
No. We had to see the highlight of Vici there, and especially with the way game's going. You got to be positive in some regard. Now that Elder, I do not believe we will see. And I was almost right about the next Infernal. But I'm definitely right about this Elder. 15k gold lead, Vici Gaming. The minions are going to continue crashing in, and Uzi going to be sitting in this bottom wave, trying to push up.
He used his stopwatch as well in that entire instance, and now he's going for a Randuin, but here we go.
Easy Hoon will escape.
Heroic exit.
Goes to the top side of the map. Vici Gaming now running for the hills. Zatai leads the charge. Xiaohu closely behind. And Uzi, someone who has been killed a couple of times now, he's the one you should watch as well. 2 damage members, 2 that need to be taken out for Vici Gaming to survive. Uzi gets slowed down but shielded. Xiaohu and Uzi still watching. Vici Gaming, minions slowly crashing in. Look at this from all angles now. And they're just going to be collapsed on. The DPS coming out. Uzi in the backside going onto Meow. Flashes in the back, but it's Xiaohu who we should really be watching. The hero and savior. And RNG, their mid laner and their bottom lane AD carry have done so much work here. Meow will have to watch from the fountain as the game comes to a crushing defeat. Vici Gaming getting lost out. Meow almost dying himself. A 2-1 over to RNG.
And that was just so reminiscent of RNG, the way that they won throughout all of last year. Finally, they are bringing their flame back. It took a replacement of Zatai. It took a replacement of Casa. But man, they tightened up their early game. And from that moment, from the get-go, Xiaohu, what a legendary player.
And what a difference that rotation of the jungle and top can make. And it seems like fresh legs were exactly what they wanted, exactly what they needed. And RNG coming away with that convincing win in the end. But still, Vici Gaming, I mean, they showed highlights in the series, especially in Game 2. But another loss gets added to the board. 0-9 now for the spring split.
Most certainly, Vici Gaming, they'll have to find their opportunities elsewhere. RNG, take your bow, boys, because you did well with their leader in the mid lane. Very well deserved.
So Xiaohu having probably the most convincing game of all. And onwards and upwards for RNG here. Now 5-4. And it was a bit of a difficult start for them, and you could probably attribute it towards Casa's performance in previous weeks. You know, we had a look at those stats before. And for Casa now, I mean, this is the performance that he needed to continue to have. Last week had the same result, and coming back off that Lunar New Year, off the break, the Chinese New Year, sorry. Now RNG continue that pace and can see how they go in the next couple of weeks.
Yep, and laughing with the rest of his teammates, he's finally found a home in this RNG squad. His aggressive playstyle finally jigsawing him.
Well, that is it for RNG, and after taking that win, we are going to send it back to the desk to see how they can attribute the subtle yet fantastic performance of Xiaohu, who popped off on the Vladimir and gave RNG the win.